Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom. No spells for you, including all your Tron Planeswalkers opponent. No cards, no Ulamogs. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Brew About Nothing, and today we are doing one of my favorite things in all of Magic and Modern, which is try to lock opponents out of the game, but we're doing it in a really unique, pretty janky, and definitely very interesting way. This is Bant Grandeur lock. You probably remember this from an instant deck like a week ago. Essentially, we are trying to lock opponents out of the game with Oriss and Genesis and Teferi to strengthen the lock. However, this is the original build, the instant deck build. I played some games with this build, and while I love the core of the deck and the lock of the deck, and I think it has a lot of potential, there were some things that I didn't really love about the deck. So I made some upgrades, changing up the ramp package a little bit from Search for Tomorrow to Noble Hierarch. Fauna Shaman is like perfect for the deck. So some upgrades around the edges, also improve the mana base a little bit. So we are playing the new and improved, but very much the same plan, locking our opponents out of the game, Bant Grandeur lock and Modern today. So let's quickly talk about what this deck is trying to do, the changes, and jump right into the game. So first, combo piece number one, Oriss Samite Guardian. This is the card that our deck is all about. Oriss, if it's on the battlefield, we can discard additional copies thanks to Grandeur, and when we do, we make it so target player can't play spells this turn, and creatures that player controls can't attack. So essentially, if we can get one Oriss on the battlefield and have another in hand, we discard it on our opponent's upkeep, and our opponent more or less skips their turn. So step two to the deck is making sure we have an extra Oriss to discard every single turn, which brings us to Genesis. Genesis, this commander staple, now showing up in Modern thanks to Modern Horizons, but basically if we can get Genesis in our graveyard, on our upkeep, we can pay 3 mana to return a creature from our graveyard to our hand. So you probably see what this does. We get Oriss on the battlefield, we get another one in our hand somewhere in our graveyard, whatever, we get Genesis in our graveyard, and then on each of our opponent's turn, we discard Oriss on our opponent's upkeep, so they more or less skip their turn. And then on our turn, we pay 3 mana with Genesis to get back the Oriss and do it again, so on the next upkeep of our opponents, we can discard Oriss again, make our opponent skip that turn as well. However, there is one problem with this plan, which is our opponent can still play instants, which means they can like fatal push our Oriss or whatever. Anything that's instant speed still works. The final piece of the puzzle is Teferi Time Raveler, which just makes it so our opponent can't play things at instant speed. With our lock and Teferi added to the mix, it is a hard lock. Our opponent for the rest of the game can't cast spells, period, no spells allowed, there's no window at instant speed, and they also can't attack, which means we essentially just win. I don't think there's any way we can lose if we get the lock set up with Teferi to cut off instant speed stuff. So this is the core of the deck. We have a ton of ways to find our pieces. Of course, we need 2 Orisses, we need a Genesis in the graveyard, preferably a Teferi. So Eldrami's Call just tutors a creature, Jace Charter Course, draw through our deck, fill our graveyard, Fauna Shaman, a new addition, and it is amazing for our deck. Not only does it let us discard a creature, like Genesis perhaps, to get it in the graveyard, it let us tutor up another creature, so we can discard creatures we don't need to find our combo pieces, which makes Fauna Shaman just absolutely ideal. That's every single thing we wanted to do in the deck. We also have one new creature to the deck to strengthen our combo in Teferi Mage of Zhalfir. So Teferi, it can replace Teferi Time Raveler. It does the same thing. Opponent can't play things at instant speed. And we can tutor up Teferi with like Eldrami's Call. And we can tutor up Teferi Mage of Zhalfir with like Eldrami's Call, with our Fauna Shaman. So it's only a one-of, but it's another way we can strengthen the lock, shut off the instant speed stuff, and find it with our creature tutors. Otherwise, Spell Queller, Path to Exile for interaction, Noble Hierarch, our new ramp spell, Better than Search for Tomorrows, works with our creature-based stuff, discard to Fauna Shaman, all that stuff. We also have the mana, mostly in the mana, just cut down on the number of shock lands. I felt like we had way too many shock lands and way too few fetch lands, so added a few fetch lands, reduced the shock lands, added in Botanical Sanctum. Sideboard-wise, I guess some updates there too, but mostly counter spells, some removals, some utility stuff, life gain for burn, which is really popular, graveyard hate, combo hate, and that is Bant Grandeur lock, new and improved, hopefully for Modern. And that's our Bunch of Brew deck for this week. So let's jump into some games, see if we can actually assemble this combo, hard lock opponents out of the game. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I will talk to you soon. If you enjoyed today's deck, make sure to purchase it from our sponsor, Card Kingdom. For a limited time, you can get a Scoop Soldier sticker for free if you mention Scoop Soldier in your order notes during checkout. Alright, Much Brew About Nothing time. We are playing some Oriss lock. Bant. Ooh, this hand's got all the Eldrami's calls, that's for sure. Some Bant Grandeur lock in Modern, and we will keep this. All of our creatures are going to come with a kicker of 2 mana, apparently, because we're going to have to tutor them up, but we can find all of our pieces. That's the good news. We'll see what our opponent's doing. Oh, Tron. Tron. Okay. This might be tricky. We'll see. Flooded Strand, go. So opponent's on the play. What we're going to need to do, I think, is... we're going to have to hope our opponent has a not swift hand. Our lock can be effective against our opponent. The question is going to be, can we get the lockdown before we're troned to death? Tower. Piece number 2 gets a tower. Oh, no, relic. Oh, that's actually good against our lock. All right, get a breeding pool tapped. Yeah, Tron feels interesting. Exiles a land, sure. Oriss, well, step 1 is to pray that our opponent does not have Tron this turn. But they kept 7, so they should. Opponent, do you have Tron this turn? Do you have Karn this turn? Wormcoil. All right. So we can lock our opponent temporarily, but this relic is going to keep us from locking permanently for the time being. Well, we will Path Wormcoil. Sack that relic. Draw that card. Now they're going to play safe. All right. Yeah. Opponent. Passing. Windswept Teeth. Crack Windswept Teeth. Temple Guardian. Untapped. I'm almost wondering if we just try to fade. Like, we can stop our opponent from casting spells for a few turns, but we don't have a clock to kill our opponent. All right. Since all our opponent did last turn... Oh, this is so risky. Yeah, I think we just got to pass. Like, with the relic out, stopping our opponent for a turn doesn't really do much, so we got to hope our opponent doesn't have anything insane this turn. And then that we can get a clock on the battlefield that can maybe let us beat down, because we can like Oriss into Oriss, but we have to kill our opponent because that will run out eventually without being able to use our graveyard. So I think we want to try to fade this turn. Well, let's see what they got. We can Spell Queller the Oblivion Stone. Hopefully there's nothing bigger and badder. Oh, Karn. All right. Yeah. Well, they chose not to play Karn last turn, or they drew Karn this turn. Either way, so the problem is, so I got to clarify this because I know it's going to come up in the comments. So we could have just played Oriss and then discarded Oriss, and then Eldrami's Call for Oriss, and then Eldrami's Call for Oriss, and made our opponent not do anything for 3 turns. But all we have is an Oriss, and we're spending all of our turn doing that, so we only hit our opponent for 3, and then all of our Orisses get exiled. So that's not really a way that we can win the game long term. We're just kind of hoping. I don't even know. Like, there's no way that line actually wins the game. So I think that the way we did play that was the best we could do given the situation. But yeah. Definitely gonna be interesting. Tron feels tough. We get a couple of Damping Spheres. We get a couple of Dovin's Vetoes. I guess, like, go down a Spell Queller and a Jace for maybe a couple of Night of Autumns. Like, if we can just lock our opponent super quick, that is a way we can win the game. But remember what the lock does. Opponent can't cast spells and can't attack. What it doesn't say is can't activate Planeswalkers. So if our opponent has a Karn on the battlefield, our lock is pretty useless. So we have to lock our opponent before they get to that point, I think. This hand's good. I'm not sure how good it'll be against Tron in specific, but we can play Figs. We can draw some cards. Fauna Shaman can help us find our combo pieces. It's all just a matter of if it's going to be fast enough. Tower for our opponent. Chromatic Sphere. Windswept Teeth. Yeah, we don't have a creature we tutor up that stops Tron. Well, I think we just Windswept Teeth. Crack Windswept Teeth. Our life total's not super relevant in this one. Grab a Hallowed Fountain. Fauna Shaman. Hit our opponent for 1. So this gives us the upside that if we draw an Oriss, we can get a second one with Fauna Shaman and maybe lock our opponent in time. Otherwise, we probably are Charted Coursing to try to hit a Damping Sphere. One of our 2. Be kind, Magic Gods. Boat it. What you got? Yeah, Tron piece. So opponent looking like they probably have natural Tron. Let's see what we draw. Charted Course. Well, go to combat. Get in with Fauna Shaman. Hit our opponent. Charted Course. Yeah, alright. Play a land Charted Course. Ugh. Alright. Oh, this hand is so good, but it's just not turn 3 card good. Opponent. Oh, do they not have it yet? Cracks. Sylvan's Scrying. So Tron assembled. Also, our opponent didn't have Tron, but they drew the Sylvan Scrying. Place a mine. Expedition map. Alright. Alright, give us Oriss or Damping Sphere. Hollowed Fountain. Well, 1, 2. Charted Course. Come on, Damping Sphere. Damping Sphere. Charted Course. Veto. Alright, we'll discard the Genesis. We'll play the Plains. Maybe. This might be enough. No attacks. This might be enough. This might be. We'll see what our opponent has. Opponent untaps. Hopefully they're just slamming a Karn and we can veto it, and then we can get our 2 Orisses, and then we can lock our opponent, and then we win. Maybe. Maybe it's going to work. It seems like it's possible. Opponent's going to crack the map. Okay. That's seemingly fine. Plays a Forest. Ancient Stirrings, also acceptable. Wow, our opponent just doesn't have the finisher. Gets a Karn. Okay. That doesn't do it this turn, though. 5 mana. Opponent. Gonna pass? Well, we will Noble Hierarch. We will Fauna Shaman. Discard Fauna Shaman. Get Oriss. Untap. Genesis, no. I think, maybe. We might have him. No to Genesis, not yet. We draw a Spell Queller. Well, we will Hollowed Fountain, untapped. Play Oriss. Noble Hierarch. Discard Spell Queller. Oriss number 2. Stop on our boat. Oh, we locked him. We did it. We did it. We're going to beat Tron, at least for a game. Upkeep. No spells for you, including all your Tron Planeswalkers opponent. No cards. No Ulamogs. No graveyard hate. Sanctum. Sure. Sure. Does our opponent realize that the game's over? They need like a surgical, I guess. Oh. Oriss Lesson? I'm assuming this is a spell. I mean, this doesn't say non-creature spells or anything like that. It's just spells. Nothing. None at all. Vote it. I think they're realizing the Oriss straits they're in. I don't think they can get out of this. The Grandeur lock. Gonna be in time in this game. Opponent gonna pass. So now we untap. We don't actually have to Genesis this turn. We will in the future. But for this turn, we say no. We Temple Garden untapped. We play Teferi. We Fauna Shaman. Discard Spell Queller. Get an Oriss, and that's the hard lock. That is the hard lock. All right, get the Oriss. Take up Teferi. And now we start beating down with Oriss. Hit our opponent. And we do this for a few turns. Our opponent cannot do anything the rest of the game. Doesn't matter how much mana their Trodlands can make. We got it on lock. Opponent down to 14. Oh, it kind of works. And it is really unique. Opponent passes. Well, upkeep. We will Grandeur lock you. Oriss, discard Oriss. No spells for you. Opponent's passing. Sure. And now this might be where our opponent scoops. Genesis for Oriss. Because our opponent just can't do anything the rest of the game. Genesis, get back Oriss. Take up Teferi. Flooded Strand. Go to combat. Get in with Fauna Shaman. Hit our opponent. Opponent takes it. I wonder what our opponent's playing towards. Like, why is our opponent not scooping? Maybe they're just letting us play it out. Get a Breeding Pool. Untapped. Night of Autumn to speed up our clock a bit. Counters. Pass the turn. Upkeep. Oriss. Grandeur lock you still. I mean, this is unbeatable. I don't think there's a card in Magic that beats this scenario. I guess Split Second, but other than... No, Split Second doesn't even do it. I don't think there's anything. Like, I think this just is fully game over. An opponent scoops it up. Whoo! I mean, I think that beats any deck in Magic in any format if you get that set up. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where our deck ranks in terms of being actually competitive, but it is sweet, and it does do its thing on occasion, and it is pretty good. Pretty good. All right, opponent. What you got? I mean, being on the draw, we really need Dapping Sphere. If our hand is medium, like this one, we definitely gotta spin for Damping Sphere. Ooh, 2 Orisses. Opponent's going to 5. Ugh. So opponent plays a Tron land. We play a land. Yeah, we're gonna keep this and put Eldrami's Call to the bottom. I mean, no Damping Sphere. Could be the top of card of our deck. I don't know if this will be enough or not. I would feel much more comfortable if we were on the play. Also, I'm a little scared now that our opponent knows our loop, that opponent's also going to 5. A little scared that our opponent knows our loop, that they might have more graveyard hate to interact with it. Dapping Sphere, Genesis. Well, Temple Garden tapped. Boy, we do have the combo set up like pretty effectively. Man, if our opponent stumbles a bit and doesn't have graveyard hate, we might be able to just lock him again. Next turn, we ensure cards discard Genesis. Then the turn after that, assuming we hit a white source. Oh, there's the graveyard hate. Okay. Well, play a land. Chart a course. Ooh, discard Genesis. Whiff on lands. That's awkward. Yeah, this graveyard hate's gonna make it hard to actually lock our opponent. Opponent cracks a star or sphere. Exiles Genesis. Is this... Ooh, Ancient Strength. All right. Missing Tron piece. Okay, getting closer. Well, can we draw land, please? Chromatic Star? No. Oh boy. Well, Fauna Shaman. Ooh, okay, this took a turn for the worse. For sure. Whiff. No Trons, no cards, please. I think our best bet is still our opponent having to... Oh no. Green mana. Our best bet is still our opponent having to crack this relic to look for lands. Sanctum of Ugin. And... Oh, another relic. Huh. Alright, now cracking relics off the table, probably. We do draw a land. I'll play Windswept Heath. Do we want to Oriss? Well, yeah, I think we do. Crack Windswept Heath. We can still fizzle a couple turns, at least. Get a Hollowed Fountain. Untapped. Oriss. Go to combat. Get in with Fauna Shaman. Hit our opponent. Down to 18. So we're more on the tempo plan at the moment. Ooh. Alright. Well, now we're on the please don't draw Tron plan. Opponent actually had a removal spell. Alright, what happens? Ugh, that was gonna be something at least. Chromatic Sphere. Cracks it green. Oblivion Stone. Opponent passes. Well, Play Teferi. Bounce Oblivion Stone. Draw a card. Go to combat. Hit our opponent with Fauna Shaman. Now we're kind of just trusting in our opponent whiffing. That's not the best spot to be at. About it. They don't have green mana, which is helpful. Oblivion Stone returns. Power Plant. Okay. Opponent passes. Yeah, that's a land. So take up Teferi. Windswept Heath. Go to combat. Get in with Fauna Shaman. Actually, let's not get in with Fauna Shaman. Pass the turn. Well, there goes Relic 1. I mean, we're still not in bad shape to set up the lock if these relics go away and we don't die to Tron. Oh, this has been really interesting and close. Podet. Passing. Well, we will Fauna Shaman. Discard a Fauna Shaman. Crack Windswept Heath. Take a Breeding Pool. Untapped. Fauna Shaman gets us a... Yeah, let's just take Oriss. And then Eladrami Call. Take a Jace Prince Prodigy. Untap. Take up to Fairy. Get in with Fauna Shaman. Opponent down to 14 past the turn. Question is, when are they going to blow this Oblivion Stone? Ooh, they're going to keep around the Relic. Okay. Opponent exiles, sure. And passes. We untap. Hallowed Fountain, untapped. Well, to Fairy. Bounce Relic. Pass the turn. Actually, let's get in with Fauna Shaman. Get in with Fauna Shaman. We're actually really close. Hit our opponent. To 12 past the turn. Is it time? It's time. All right, this is it. This is it. This is the turn that determines everything. We discard the Genesis. We got the lock for next turn. Does our opponent manage to do with this turn? Opponent, did they find Tron? Otherwise, we got him, I think. Chromatic Sphere. Resolves. Crack Sphere. Green. Ancient Stirrings. Let's Spell Queller. Stop the Stirrings. Relic. Yeah, I mean, we're going for it. Veto the Relic. Opponent. Passing. Genesis. No activation yet. Go to combat. Get in, hit our opponent. Play Oriss. Pass the turn. Upkeep. Oriss you. And opponent scoops it up? Taking down Tron? Oh my goodness. We did it. It actually worked. We locked Tron out of the game. Oh my god. Well, I mean, this deck actually, like, sort of, kind of works. That was through Disruption. Like, obviously, our opponent did not hit Tron, but they had Graveyard Hate, they had Oblivion Stone, and we were still able to piece it together and win the game. This lock's sweet. This lock is, this lock is actually really sweet. I like this deck. Yeah, all right. All right. Much brew about nothing time. We are playing Bant Grandeur lock. Seeing if we can, well, mulligan. We got a lot of, we got our 2 Orisses, but no lands, no lands. Ooh, 2 Orisses and lands. That's an improvement. We will keep. Opponent revealed a Luris. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I think we just put Jace to the bottom. Yeah, let's put Jace to the bottom. Alright, this hand seems reasonable-ish. Flooded Strand. Uncrack Flooded Strand. We're gonna need to find our Genesis at some point. Yeah, let's Temple Garden. Untapped. And the Noblest of Hierarchs. Pass the turn. Okay. 2 Orisses is good, though. It's burn. Alright, so our Orisses might be dying. Ugh, not even burn. Mono red Prowess? Prowess burn? Well, let's just chart a course. Discard a Genesis, play a Hallowed Fountain. Well, I mean, we have the full combo. The problem is our opponent can cast stuff at instant speed, so we're going to need to find the Teferi. Down to 16. Light up the stage, drawn cards. What do they find? What do they find? Lava, oh. Lava Dart's pretty bad. We kind of needed that Noble Hierarch. Genesis, no deal. No mana. Land? No. Well, oh man, we got our pieces. We just need land. Start a course. Discard a Genesis. Hallowed Fountain. Wow. Is it going to be just good enough or just not good enough? That is the question. So we need to get down to Fairy. Another 1-drop. Our opponent had to spin into the land off the lightest up the stage. Our opponent was really close to having some issue. Oh, okay, they do have the land. All right, Sunbaked Canyon. Opponent gets in. We drop to 11. Well, 2 Genesises, neither of which we are going to activate. All right, so how do we do this? How do we do this? So we can play Oriss. We can make our opponent not attack, but they can still do stuff at instant speed, which means eventually they're going to draw a Bolt. Oh, I think we gotta go for it. We gotta go for it and hope. They already spent a Bolt. They didn't bolt off the Sunbaked Canyon. All right. Well, Oriss. If only Oriss had one more toughness. Play the land. Pass the turn. Upkeep. Discard an Oriss. No spells for you. Once Oriss is not summoning sick, it can protect itself from... Oh, they have a path? Oh. Okay. That's not the best. So opponent had a path in their burn deck, surprisingly. Okay. So opponent's got a pass. Genesis doesn't do much. Alright, so we will untap. See what we draw. I don't think we Genesis this turn. A land would actually be fine, because I mean, Teferi Spell Queller, we draw a path. Okay, so we will pass the turn. We can path and Spell Quell this turn. And then next turn we can Teferi pick up Spell Queller, potentially. Opponent. Ooh, Desperation. Sacking the Sunbait Canyon. Okay. Land. Abbot of Carol Keep. Yeah, I think we actually just Spell Queller that. Opponent. Attacks. Oh, block. Opponent cracks. Mountain. Alright, that works. We can just path. Successfully navigated the Lava Dart. We take 2. Oh, if we can hit a land here, it's really good. Lava Dart goes away. We untap. Genesis, not yet. Not yet. Eventually, this Genesis is going to start making, creating value, but no. No. Alright, so Windswept Heath. We crack Windswept Heath. We get a Forest. Play Windswept Heath. Crack Windswept Heath. Get a Plains. Go to combat. Get in with Spell Queller. Hit our opponent. Teferi. Pick up Spell Queller. Get rid of the Abbot. For good. Oh, we are down to 7. Pass the turn. Opponent. Soul Scar Mage. Yeah. Quell it. Islet. Opponent. Combat. Going to kill Teferi. Yeah, I think we just let that go for now. Teferi down. Okay, there's Luris, but with nothing to cast at the moment. Opponent passes. Genesis. One more turn. Next turn, we probably start Genesising. No. This turn, we're just going to Teferi. No and no. Flooded Strand. Pass the turn. Hope this Teferi's enough. Opponent untaps. We could use a path. A path would be nice. Opponent's going to crack Fiery Islet. Yeah. Wooded Foothills. Seal of Fire. Okay. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. Well, Teferi. Block. Opponent going to catch in the Seal of Fire. Yeah. Now we're in trouble. Seal of Fire Luris is something that that we're probably going to have a hard time beating at the moment. Ugh, so close. Well, our deck did things. For being game 1 and not having... Opponent's going to hit our Spell Queller. For being game 1 and not having any of our sideboard cards. Lava Dart. Yeah. Well, now we are Luris locked. Opponent gets another creature. Alright. Well, we'll see what we draw, but I believe this. I don't think we can draw anything. Like, we can get back a random dork, but we die. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what we draw. But it might be time to bring in our sideboard cards. No. Path to Exile. Oh, would have been so good in the past. Well, okay. I guess we will Path Luris. So we did find an answer, but our opponent hits us for 4, 5. So we're just add to any spell that triggers Prowess. Yeah, Luris is a good... Okay, that's a spell that triggers Prowess. Sure. Hey! Alright. So, we do have some decent sideboard cards. We get 2 Timely Reinforcements. We get Scavenging Oozes. We get Knights of Autumn. So it's actually a pretty tough combo matchup. Maybe this is just a tough deck to combo with, period. We'll see. We're still early. So go out the Jaces. Probably have to like trim a Genesis, trim a Teferi, and maybe like a Fauna Shaman. Yeah, I think that's all we can do. Alright. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We do have some good sideboard cards. Timely's good, Ooze is good, Night of Autumn's good, so we have some decent options. The bad news is it's really tough to combo through a deck that's all lightning bolts. Well, we'll keep. Sand's not great, but it's not horrible, which I guess is a win. Hallowed Fountain go. I mean, we're not anywhere near comboing, but Path is a decent card. Night of Autumn can gain us life. Eladrami's Call can find something. Opponent gonna start the bobbling. And yeah, Burnt's crazy these days. Burnt's just so good at playing the long game. Opponent plays a mountain, passes, draws a card. Now, Misty Rainforest, and yeah, let's just get a forest. And I think we're just gonna run out Fauna Shaman. I mean, if they spend a bolt on Fauna Shaman, that's a bolt that's not going in our face, which is some amount of a win. And then next turn, okay, opponent has Seal of Fire, so we're going to lose our Fauna Shaman. Next turn, we can leave up the Spell Queller, potentially. And Eladrami's Call. Tormod's Crypt, land. Opponent's prepared for our deck. Play the land, pass the turn. We'd like to get full value out of this Timely, with our opponent running out of creature. Yeah, it's going to be super hard to combo with Infinite Tormod's Crypts. Sacred Foundry tapped. Opponent's playing this conservatively. Well, we will Eladrami's Call. Take a... Let's take a Ooze. Untap. Breeding Pool. Tapped. Pass the turn. So we want to run out the Ooze after we can immediately grow it outside of bolt range, I think. Lava Spikes us. Sure. Sunbaked Canyon. Opponent's passing. Opponent just doing nothing forever is awkward. We draw land. Let's pass the turn, and then this turn, if our opponent doesn't play anything, we're just going to run out this Spell Queller, honestly. Lava Spike. Okay. Okay. I don't think we're going to Spell Queller that. Tap land. Well, run out Spell Queller. Flooded Strand, crack. Take a Temple Garden, tapped. Crack. Breeding Pool, tapped. Untap. Go to combat. Get in with Spell Queller. Hit our opponent. Alright, cracks the Canyon. And that's fine. This means we're definitely not getting Skull Cracked, and we will Night of Autumn. Gain life. Up to 15. Opponent's hand's been weird. They've had a bunch of sideboard cards. Alright, there's the Luris. That's fine. So opponent gets to bobble, but we get to path the Luris and get rid of it. So the companion will be officially dealt with. Alright, opponent goes with Seal of Fire. Sure. Opponent passing. Well, path the Luris. Alright, so only a 2-for-1, which a 2-for-1 feels like a win in Luris land. Go to combat. Attack you. Maybe we're the aggro now. Opponent down to 13. This kind of works. So we will play Scavenging Ooze. We will activate Scavenging Ooze. We will activate Scavenging Ooze. Alright, so opponent killed the Ooze. We go up to 17. Alright, I mean, we are in it. Opponent. Seal of Fire again. All these Seals of Fire are a lot worse when Luris is gone. All these cards that are really frightening with Luris become less frightening now that we've dealt with it. Lava Dart, Wooded Foothills, sure. Plays a land. Cracks the land. I think we're probably going to run out this Oriss, because that actually demands a removal spell, as hard as it might be to combo. Flooded Strand. Well, go to combat. Attack. Opponent goes to 10. Run out Oriss. No combos. Just an Oriss. Pass the turn. Land for our opponent. Monastery Schwiftspia. Cracks to draw a card. Hopefully we don't end up losing this. That would be sad. Opponent. Attacks. Well, we'll take it. Lava Darts Oriss. Seal of Fires, Oriss. Lava Darts again. Alright, so we go down to 16. We go down to 10. Crack Flooded Strand. Down to 9. Get a Hollowed Fountain. Tapped. Untap. Play Timely. Back up to 15. Get a bunch of blockers. Yeah, get him with Spell Queller. Opponent down to 8. Pass the turn. Can we close it out? Opponent adapts. Sunbaked Canyon. Cracks it to draw a card. Mishra's Bauble to trigger prowess. Cracks a Bauble. We'd love to get rid of this Soulscar Mage. Easier said than done. Opponent attacks. Yeah, we'll block 1. Go to 13. Oh, light up the stage. Path and light up the stage. Boy, chaining them together. It's really amazing that we are getting, like, severely out-card drawn by Burn. What a world we live in. Soulscar Mage and a land. Yeah, I mean, our Burn opponent has drawn 8 more cards than we have. That is basically amazing. We will take a Spell Queller. Opponent passes. Gets to draw another card. Because they're Burn. Chart, of course. I'll go to combat. Get in with Spell Queller. Hit our opponent. Down to 6. Chart, of course. Play a land. Pass the turn. I think we want to be patient until this path is gone. About it. Oh, another Swift Spear. Okay. And a Bauble to get some triggers. It does just keep happening. Yeah. Gets to draw another card. Plays the land. Cracks the Bauble, takes a peek. Opponent goes to combat. They attack. Well, we block and block. Down to 9. Opponent passes. Okay. Draws a card. Path goes away. Now, we will play Scavenging Ooze. We will eat a Scavenging Ooze. Opponent's going to cash in the Tormod's Crypt. Wow, are we going to end up losing this still? Eat a Scavenging Ooze. Eat a Oriss. Go up to 11. Graveyard down. Well, pass the turn. Opponent has all these prowess creatures, though. Oh, it's really tough. They just keep coming. Burn. It's insane. It's like an aggro combo deck that's also the best control deck of the format or something. Hey, it's another light up the stage. Found it. Light up the stage. Again. Soul Guide Lantern Lava Spike. Okay. Whoa! Their card draw was a path? Wow. Wow, we're going to lose this. It is... Wow. 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 Well, this is a huge testament to 2020 Burn. Opponent attacks with everything, so our only play is to... We have to path and chump block, and we're still losing? I mean, yeah. Well, that is a thing that happened. Burn when you have infinite card draw is insane. It's burn without any of the... Yeah, we're dead on board. Even if we Genesis Spell... Well, I guess we Genesis Spell Queller? Yeah, play Genesis. I guess that's all we can do. So we have to Spell Queller the Lava Spike and hope that our opponent doesn't draw into anything off of their draw step and Soul Guide Lantern. I mean, we've played this, I think... I mean, this is definitely a tough matchup, but I feel like we played this decently. It's just ridiculously hard to actually beat a burn deck that can go this long. Because we've gained life, we resolved a timely reinforcements, like... I feel like we've done about as much as our deck can possibly do in this matchup, but our opponents just had the ability to draw so many cards that... So our opponent has to have 0 spells in hand. That's our only pseudo chance of surviving. If our opponent has 2 lands in hand, alright, opponent does not, it's a bolt. Well, well, next time with the combo. Burn is Busterino. Alright. Much brew about nothing time. We are looking to lock people out of the game in Modern with two Orisses. Bant Grandeur lock. Yeah, well, we'll keep. We will put this Teferi to the bottom. So we can get Genesis in the graveyard. We need Orisses, but opponent is, Lurus Burn. Ooh, Core Duelist. Hammer time. Sure. So hammer time on the draw. I guess we will see if we're dead. Bad things can happen really quickly against hammer time, as we saw last week on Bunch of Brew. If you haven't seen last week's episode, the new and improved hammer time is really good. Alright, well, opponent goes for it. Thankfully, we're not quite dead yet, because we do get to path this Core Duelist. So bullet 1 temporarily dodged. Alright. Test 1 passed. I don't know if we passed it with an A, because there's still a Luris, and our opponent's still got cards in hand, but pass for now. Well, Temple Garden untapped. I think we just play Jace. With a bit of luck, we can flip Jace and flashback Path next turn to deal with another creature. Core Duelist, like Core Duelist, for example. Steel Shaper's Gift. Alright, so opponent is reassembling. I mean, this is fine as long as we hit a land that makes white mana. So opponent passes. Genesis. So we need to chart a course. Oh, come on. If we whiff on a land, I'm going to be really disappointed. Chart a course. Oh, no. Not like this. So it doesn't have trample. Alright. So I guess because we whiffed on the land, I think we pass. I think we got to pass, block, flip. Hope our opponent doesn't draw something to kill the Jays. If we draw a land, it was easy because we just flip and then path the Duelist. This is the riskier mode. Opponent combat. Attacks. Well, we block with Jace. Loot with Jace. Flip Jace. Oh, you're going to hit the land anyway. Discard Genesis. Stay alive. Stoneforge Mystic. Ugh, the hits just keep coming. For Shadow Spear. Well, Genesis doing nothing at the moment. No. We need to Jace for Path. Path Duelist. But even after all this, we're still in a position where we could just die at basically any minute. Breeding Pool, untapped. Fauna Shaman, go. Now, hopefully our opponent doesn't draw another hammer. If they find another hammer here, they can hit us for 12, which isn't exactly lethal, but it is not a lot of life. We wouldn't be able to greg our fetches anymore. All right, there's a Shadow Spear. That was expected. Not a hammer, though. As long as it's not a hammer, it's okay. On the Stoneforge, goes to combat. Attacks Jace. We will take it. The good news is we're actually kind of close to setting up the lock. Tap land. Opponent passes. Genesis. So I think we just need to draw a creature? No. Eladrami's Call. Alright, so we play Flooded Strand. Play Oriss. Pass the turn. Can we stay alive? Come on. No hammer for 1 turn. Oh, we're so close. Opponent. Land. No attacks. Alright, we will crack. Take a Temple Garden. I think we got it. I think we got there. Untap. Genesis. Not yet. Next turn. If we draw a land here, then we have the full hard lock. No. That's land. Alright, so Misty Rainforest. Crack Misty Rainforest. Gabe. We got there. Play an island. Play Teferi. Tick up Teferi. Play Eladrami's Call. for Oriss number 2. And that's it. Opponent can't do anything the rest of the game. Over. They might not know it's over yet, but this is what we're trying to set up. Opponent. Sure. Upkeep. And they see the lock. They know what's happening. And they scoop it up. Wow. So because we didn't get to see that play out, just so you know what's going on and know the plan. So Oriss on the battlefield lets us Grandeur, discard an Oriss, target player can't cast spells or creatures that player controls can't attack. So with Teferi, for a turn rather. So upkeep, we discard Oriss. Teferi's out, which means our opponent can only cast things during sorcery. Oriss basically makes our opponent not cast things as a sorcery and not be able to attack. So let me just Genesis back this Oriss every turn for 3 mana. Opponent, for the rest of the game, can't cast a spell, can't attack, and I don't know if there's any decks in Magic that can win without either of those two things. Like, you got to be able to do one. You can sometimes get by without one or without the other, but yes, that is pretty much the game. All right, so Brazen Borrower in, Spell Queller in, Knight of Autumn's in, Big Teferi out, a Jace VP out, a Genesis out. So the counters are where Lurrus is actually really relevant. The counters seem like they would be good, but they're much less effective now that Lurrus is a thing. Because sure, we can like counter a Colossus Hammer, but then Lurrus is going to recast it. So I don't actually think the counters are good enough anymore. What else do we change? Brazen Borrower does seem pretty essential. We got to drop one more something. Oh, I like that Jace can flash back. Maybe we go down the Charter Course. Opponent doesn't have that much removal. Let's go down the Charter Courses. Write it like that. Well, main thing is we got to have early game interaction because Hammer Time, as we saw last week on Abrew, hint hint if you haven't seen it, is really good at killing on turn 2. And now with Lurrus, it's really good at going long. See us not bringing in our counter spells. Ooh, boy. Huh. So we don't have early interaction. We're on the draw and we have interaction starting on turn 3. But we do have some combo. I think we got a mulligan. That's a hand that's like the definition of functional, but not very good in the matchup because our opponent can just kill us so quickly that in a lot of matchups, we'd be fine with that hand, but this matchup in specific, we are not. I think we'll put one Queller to the bottom. Actually, do we? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yep. Well, so we have a path if we're going to die on turn 2, and then we can try to do similar shenanigans where we can Jace back the path eventually. Inkmoth Nexus for our opponent. Passes. Wins up to 8th go. We would like to draw more lands, because we're probably not going to be able to tap out for a 2-drop until we have more lands. Opponent, are we running out of hammer? Spellskite. That's frightening. Well, so we could be dead next turn. Untap. Land? That is a land. So we can't beat this Spellskite anyway. Well, I guess we Windswept Teeth. Get a... Yeah, I mean, we're going to run stuff out. We can't stop the Infect Kill, so Hollowed Fountain untapped. Bluffing would be effective if there wasn't a Spellskite, but with a Spellskite, bluffing becomes a lot less effective. Actually, just not effective at all. So, we'll run out of Jays. The only good news is, so we're dead to Magnetic Theft. Well, no, we're not. I don't think they can kill us this turn. I think we're going to get one more turn. And the good news about that is, if we get one more turn, then we can potentially protect ourselves with Spell Queller. So he can hit us with Inkmoth. Oh, this is going to be tricky. Gets in, hits us. Sure. 1 Infect. I'll play Windswept Teeth. Pass the turn, leave up Spell Queller. Next turn, we can Knight of Autumn the Spellskite and leave up Path. This is a turn our opponent can kill us. They have the mana to kill us if they have the combo. Inkmoth. However, Spell Queller means that's hopefully not going to happen. Get in, hit us. Sure. Up to 2 Infect. Well, loot with Jace. Discard a... Let's go Fauna Shaman. Crack Windswept Teeth. Get a... Hollowed Fountain tapped. Untap. I'll play a Forest. Knight of Autumn. Blow up Spellskite. Pass the turn. Gotta play carefully against this stack. It's just so easy to die in one turn. Opponent, gonna crack the Windswept Teeth. Sacred Foundry. Tapped. Sure. We could have played the fetch and flip Jace, but I don't actually think we want to flip Jace yet. I think looting for another turn is more valuable, honestly. What's up, Teeth? Cracks it. Snow-covered plains. I guess the bad news is, this does mean our opponent can lure us back to Spellskite. There's Oriss. There's Spellskite. Well, Lou with Jace. Well, discard Oriss for now. We can eventually get it back with Genesis. We don't have the lock yet anyway. So now I think we have to path Spellskite. So, path Spellskite. Yeah, I guess that Knight of Autumn didn't do much because of Oriss. Oh, Oriss is so good. About it. Yeah. We draw Spell Queller. I'll loot with Jace. Discard Genesis. Misty Rainforest. Jace. For Path. Path the Oriss. Get in. Now we're trusting in Spell Queller for protection. Alright. They still need 2 pieces to actually kill us. Opponent's going to draw a card. More paths would be good. Another Sunbaked Canyon. Opponent's on the flood plan. Although we have pathed them a few times. But they've still drawn a lot of lands. Is there a way we die here? Alright, crack Misty. Get an island. Spell Queller. We shouldn't be able to die. Giver of Runes. Alright, so opponent's got protection. Lots and lots of it. Opponent passes. Genesis, not yet. We would still just like a land. Oriss. Well, Jace, take up on Giver of Runes. Go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent. Well, now we gotta trust this Spell Queller's gonna keep our opponent from resolving a hammer. That's where we're at. Opponent. Another land. So many lands. Cracks to draw a card. Well, Spell Queller. Opponent. Come on, land. Come on, land. Opponent passes. Genesis. Not yet. Oh, if we had a land, we could Oriss for a turn. We gotta wait for a land, though. Path. Okay, that is helpful. We'll go to combat. Attack with everything. Opponent's going to block with an Ink Moth. Sure. Yeah, protection. So opponent gets a free block. Gonna kill the Knight of Autumn. Yeah. Well, we will play Teferi. Bounce a Spell Queller. Get rid of the Grand Abolisher. Draw a card. Take up Jace. On Giver. We did not hit a land, though, but pass the turn. All right. All right. We're playing it the slow way. Opponent. So our protection now is Path. Oh, my goodness, has our opponent drawn a lot of lands. Path is not great protection, though, because of Giver. Opponent, combat. Oh, they don't have the piece. They can kill Teferi. Oh, okay. We survive. We survive. Teferi dies, but that is okay. We will take it. Opponent passes. Still can't Genesis because we need another land. No Genesis. Fauna Shaman. Well, we will take up Jace on the Giver. Pass the turn. Gotta play it slow and careful. Opponent is gonna start drawing action eventually, though, because they aren't gonna have lands in their deck. Quite literally. Oh my goodness, I have never seen anyone draw more lands. I do feel a little bad for our opponent. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The deck only plays 20 lands. Opponents hit 13 out of 20? Oh, yeah, it might be time for the reverse calculator, honestly. Opponent might be actually pulling out the calculator. Gonna fire up a Ink Moth Nexus. Goes to combat. Attacks Jace. Well, we'll block. Yeah. I mean, forcing our opponent to tap, it's actually fine here. We will Spell Queller. Untap. Still no Genesis. Alright. Noble Hierarch. That's not bad. Go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent down to 3. And then next turn we have the lock. So I think we're good. As long as we can fade this one turn with Spell Queller Path, then we just lock and win. Although we're pretty close to winning anyway. Core Duelist, sure. Definitely aided by our opponent drawing infinite lands, but still. Opponent gonna pass. I wonder if it's too greedy, actually. Huh. Well, we untap. Do we even go for it yet? We don't have a Teferi. I think we actually just keep waiting. Like, if they have a path that... Oh, there's Teferi. Okay, things are improving. Well, go to combat. Attack with a Spell Queller. Opponent's going to Ink Moth. Yeah. Block and protect. Sure. Blocks and protects. We will play Fauna Shaman. Take up Jace. Pass the turn. I don't think this actually sticks. I think it becomes a new object. I don't think if they animate it, it's still -2, -0. So I'm worried about path. That's what I'm concerned about. Or, I guess, a graveyard hate spell. Because we're still in a position where our opponent could one-shot us if we're not careful. So I feel like we have to remain careful rather than just firing off the lock. Poet combat. Passes. Genesis. Not yet. I think we actually stop attacking, too. We're just shrinking our creatures for no reason. Brazen Borrower. Tick up. Play Teferi. Tick up Teferi. Pass the turn. Okay. So we fade this turn with 2 removal spells. Next turn we have the hard lock. And then we're good. Then it's over. Wow, it was a grind, but we played careful, and I think we will be rewarded. Opponent's going to Path Spell Queller. Oh, I don't think this works how our opponent was hoping, because we have the Teferi, so they can't actually cast the Spell Queller combo. Oh, sorry about it. Yeah. Nope. Oh, and they scoop it up. Well, it's probably worth it. It's probably a worthwhile scoop from our opponent's perspective, because we were going to just hardlock them there. Like, we would have had the hardlock next turn with Teferi. So, I mean, our opponent got brutally unlucky with the amount of lands they drew. But if we had untapped, we have the Teferi. We have enough mana that we can pay 3 to get back this Oriss. Opponent can't do anything. We Oriss. Then we start the discarding. And then because we have Teferi, the hardest of hardlocks. Well, all right. That's what the deck can do. Wow, that was a interesting matchup just because we had to play so conservatively to not die. And our opponent drew an insane amount of lands. Well, all right, sweet. All right. Much ado about nothing time. We are looking to hardlock people out of the game. Maybe the best thing in all of Magic. Making opponents not play Magic. What's better than that? Not much, honestly. Definitely not companions. Opponent saying hello. And we will keep this. All right, we're up against Luris. Well, we'll see. Could be many forms of Luris. But this hand actually looks decent. We have Fauna Shaman to discard Genesis to get Oris's. We have Teferi for the hardness of the lock. Bobble. Still could be anything. Crags it. Scalding Tarn. Crags it. Watery Grave. And Serum Visions. Alright, so Grixis. Death Shadow most likely. More bobbles. More cracking of bobbles. Opponent. You're gonna draw some cards. Pretty crazy when people cast like 3 spells in their turn and still have 7 cards in hand. Well, play a Forest. Run out. Yeah, let's just play Fauna Shaman. It's the highest upside line. If our opponent kills it, they kill it. If they don't kill it, then discarding this Genesis to get an Oriss is going to be sweet. Spire Bluff. Ooh, Sprite Dragon. Interesting. Opponent gets in and hits us. Sure. Well, we untap. We draw an Oriss. That's even better. Huh. I think what we do here is Hallowed Fountain untapped. Teferi. Oh, boo. Boo and hiss. All right, that's bad. Get him with Fauna Shaman. Well, there goes the hardness of the lock. Now, we'll see. Opponent opts, grows a Sprite Dragon. So we could do our thing, but without Teferi, instant speed removal is going to be an issue at some point. Darkslick Shores. Ops. Grows the Sprite Dragon. Boy, Sprite Dragon's that's a card to the bottom. And a Delver. Alright, well, we will see. Opponent gets in, hits us. Down to 13. Temple Garden, untapped. Play Oriss. Fauna Shaman. Discard Genesis. Get an Oriss. So we have the lock temporarily. Yeah. No spells for you. No attacking for you, more importantly, because attacking's bad for us. Oh, if they didn't have that Force of Negation, we had the lock. We had the hard lock. Right now we have the soft lock. But once our opponent finds a Fatal Push, the good news is Oriss can protect itself from Lightning Bolt, which is definitely helpful. Now, Genesis, back Oriss. Opponent's going to opt, grow the Sprite Dragon. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Get back Oriss. Pass the turn. Discard Oriss. Archmage's Charm to draw 2 cards. Okay. Uh-oh, Pluto Delta. Well, keep it going. This is all we got for the moment. Get back Oriss. Oh, that Teferi would have been so good. So good. Uh-oh, cracks. Blood Crypt, untapped. Lightning Bolts, Oriss. Well, Oriss protects Oriss. Get back in Oriss. Not dead yet. Ooh, another Oriss. That's interesting. Okay, pass the turn. I guess the other question is going to be, how do we win the game? Well, Oriss. Discard an Oriss. Oh! Okay. This isn't exactly game over, though. We have one more Oriss. So opponent going to build our Oriss. All right. I mean, this is bad for us. This is very bad for us. We will see, though. Opponent. Well, we'll see what they have. Opponent's got a pass. Well, we get to Fauna Shaman. Discard Jace. Get our last Oriss. Untap. No Genesis this turn. Well, does it resolve? What does our opponent have? Windswept Teeth. Oriss. Oh. Alright. Ugh. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Well, if they had the Drown in the lock, they had us anyway. These are the matchups where, boy, we need that Teferi. That was basically the entire game, was that Teferi not resolving, unfortunately. That was it. That was it. All right, so opponent. Grixis control. Grixis Lures control. Let's go down the Jaces. Go up the Vetoes. And probably Mystical Disputes. Go down a big Teferi. Oh, it's probably got to be a Genesis. We still need to get stuff in our graveyard. Ooze would be good too, because there's Luris. I would like to go down the Chart of Courses. The problem is, maybe we got to go down a couple of Eladrami's calls. Eladrami's call, Spell Queller, Genesis. Well, we'll go down one Chart of Course. The problem is we still need to get Genesis in the graveyard. That is an important part of our plan. Oh, that was so close. Minus that Force Negation, I think we just hardlock our opponent and win that game. Yeah, what's the hand looking like? Teferis and lands, we will ship it. Well, okay, I guess this is passable. Plains to the bottom. Well, we'll see. Flooded Strand. Crack Flooded Strand. Braiding Bolt. Untapped. And the noblest of hierarchs. Go. Not very close to actually locking our opponent here. Opponent. Bobble. Not only do Lurus decks always have Bobble, it seems like they always have it on turn 1. There's not very many games I play against Lurus where they don't just, like, immediately play a Bobble. Opponent. Seal of Fire. That's a good Lurus card. Kills our dork. Draws a card. Well, we will play a tap land past the turn. Yeah, I think that it's... we'll see. We've played a lot of Lurus, that's for sure. Opponent. Darkslick Shores. Seems very likely that Lurus will be banned, I would say, in the modern format. Opponent gets in with Sprite Dragon, hits us. Oh, play the Plains. Oh, this is bad in a bunch of ways. I guess we pass. So the problem is we can pass the Sprite Dragon, but then our opponent gets to Lurus. and Bobble and Seal of Fire, and I don't think we can beat that. Like, once our opponent starts Lurising again and again, I don't know how we get out of that. If we do, all right, we'll take it. By waiting, we can path end step, and then at least we can try to spell Queller Luris, which is something. I'll get rid of the Sprite Dragon. Opponent. Wasn't able to find a way to fit a companion in this deck, unfortunately. Would have loved to have a companion, but Oriss itself makes it tough. You can't play Jingatha. You could play Yorion, but we need specific pieces, which makes it a little sketchy. Opponent's going to draw some cards. Well, actually, I guess we gotta let this go. Let's pump fake. Sure. Draw your cards, my friend. Draw your cards. I mean, they're gonna draw a million cards with Luris anyway, so I don't think we can actually stop the card advantage. Opponent. Passing. Misty Rainforest, and pass the turn. Cycles Unearth. Blood Crypt, untapped. Seal of Fire. Opponent, passing. More Quellers, so we'll pass the turn. What is our pathway to winning here? Opponent, ups. Cracks. Watery Grave, tapped. So they're probably not Death Shadow. Tap land for R.E. Booted. And passes. Oh, Teferi. I would love a Teferi, but I think we gotta wait. Teferi is one of the best cards we can get down. That, especially in this matchup, is essential for the lock ever working. So what I think we need is there to be some sort of battle on our opponent's turn, possibly over a Spell Queller. Opponents hit a lot of lands. We could use lands, honestly. More Teferis. Well, alright, keep passing. We want our opponent to tap mana on their turn or do something on their turn. I guess it doesn't matter. They have so many cards. The other problem is if we Teferi, then we have to veto to protect Teferi. Then our opponent's free to Luris. I think that's what we need. I think we need opponent draws 2 cards. I think we need our opponent to Luris first. And hopefully we can deal with Luris, and then we can go from there. Opponent. Luris. Well, we will Spell Queller Luris. Opponent has a Bolt. Ugh. Well, alright. Flooded Strand, Plains. Flooded Strand, Island. Yeah, this Luris just beats us so bad. Veto the Bolt. Yeah, we tried. Alright. Well, yeah. So now I don't know what we do. I mean, we're already been outdrawn by 11 cards, roughly. I'll play Flooded Strand. Crag Flooded Strand. Yeah, we're going to shock ourselves. Get a Breeding Pool. Untapped. Teferi Time Raveler. Please resolve. Opponent has Archmage's Charm. So if we Spell Queller, it gets sealed. Yeah, alright. Sure. Well, we played it the way we wanted to play it, where we did get a battle on our opponent's turn, but our opponent had so many lands and so many cards, thanks to Luris and the rest of the deck, that it wasn't actually enough in the end. Down to 7. Yeah, this feels like a hard matchup for the lock because of the instant speed removal. We really need Teferi. Oh, I'm still a little hurt over game 1 because we were so close. Opponent gonna dump their hand, draw more cards because that's what they do. Yeah. We draw. It gotta be Oriss. It is not. So all right. So our one out is I don't think is there an out. So we play Teferi. It's got to resolve. I don't even think it matters because of these Seal of Fires. These Seal of Fires are like oddly good against us. We bounce a Luris. Veto. Yeah. Our one like pseudo out was Oriss and then draw another Oriss and be able to like start the lock. But with 2 Seal of Fires, it doesn't actually matter. And now we're dead. All right. That's a tough one. Tough matchup for our deck for sure. Actually, maybe it's just Luris. The more I think about it, maybe it's just Luris that makes it a tough matchup. Yeah, I think it's a tough matchup either way, but yeah, next time. All right, much Abrew about nothing time. We are trying to lock people out of the game in Modern. Bant Grandeur lock. This hand's not great. We're going to mulligan. That's just a ton of land. Okay. Okay. Please don't kill our Hierarch. This hand is... this hand's pretty good if our Hierarch lives. It's definitely risky because if our Hierarch dies and we don't draw lands, we just do nothing. Actually, it's a little sketchy either way because we really got to draw lands. Ugh, we got to keep it though. And we will put a... I think we actually got to go Oriss to the bottom. Actually, you know what? Let's keep the Oriss. Well, no, it's fine. Oriss to the bottom. Well, live, Noble Hierarch. Please, please. What's our opponent up to? Darkslick Shores. Lotus Bloom. Oh, okay. So ad nauseum? Well, our Noble Hierarch's going to live. Do we draw lands, please? No. Oh, we desperately need a land. If we can draw a land, we can play this Teferi, which stops the Lotus Bloom and is really good for us. If we don't draw land, we lose. Well, that was a risk with this hand. Boy, our deck actually, this seems like where our deck should shine. Our opponent's comboing, but they're comboing slower. Oriss is great against what our opponent's deck's doing. It can even just like do its thing after Angel's Grace. We just need we need lands. We just need lands. That's it. That's it. That's it. Drawing a land for Oriss and then Orissing on the turn that Lotus Bloom would come down would be perfect as well. Our hand feels almost unbeatable if we draw land in this matchup. All right, opponent. Bloom away, bloom away. Well, I guess I'm glad we shipped our first hand because that hand was not good either way. All right, opponent taking down their Lotus Bloom. Seachrome Coast. All right, land, land, land. All right, Windswept Heath. There we go. Windswept Heath. Crack Windswept Heath. Grab a Hallowed Fountain. Untapped. Teferi. Take it up, take it up. Pass the turn. All right, that's what we needed. Now I really like where we're at. Opponent, Lotus Bloom. Nice try. So now all we got to do is get a Genesis. If we can find a Genesis and get the Genesis in the graveyard, we have the hard lock. Windswept Heath. And play Oriss. Take up Teferi. Yeah, this feels like a hilariously good matchup. Pass the turn. Opponent would like to cast our Lotus Bloom, but Teferi says no. That is not sorcery speed, opponent. Well attempted, though. Well fought. Teferi's so miserable. Opponent. Gemstone Mine. Gotta do it fairly. Okay. Angel's Grace. So opponent's gonna try to win with Thassa's Oracle. So I think what we do is just discard Oriss. Yes. Yes. All right. So this isn't the hard lock, but the silence should be decent. We'll see what our opponent names. It's on the stack, so they gotta name something. They can't not name a card. So if our opponent's card is too deep, we could just kill him with Oriss on the backswing. Regardless, we're not losing this turn. Wow. Gets another Angel's Grace. Okay. And scoops it up. Got him. Got him, got him, got him. Oh, let's look at our opponent's cards real quick. What did they reveal? It's got to be Thassa's Oracle, right? Okay, it's definitely a Thassa's Oracle version of Angel's Grace. All right. That actually might make the matchup a little bit worse, honestly. Well, Veto, Spell Quellers, Mystical Disputes in. Our lock is good. Path Exile is probably the easiest cut. Path Exile out. Anything else? Damping Sphere might be worth it. Maybe go down like Teferi for Mystical Dispute. And like a Jace for a Damping Sphere. Yeah, let's go down the Jaces for Damping Spheres. Run it like that. All right. Well, game one went pretty well. This is a scarier version. The ad nauseam version, I think, would be less scary. This version, our opponent can win with quicker if they have the right draw, because they don't need ad nauseam. They can just exile their entire deck. So they can win for like 4 mana instead of double Genesis. No, please. They can win a lot quicker, though. They win on turn 4, I think, rather than much later. This we will keep. Oh, we're actually close to the lock, aren't we? We'll put Eladrami's Call to the bottom. So turn 1, Noble Hierarch. Turn 2, we'll see what we draw. So opponent, Scryland passes. Now, Misty, crack it. Temple Garden, untapped. Noble Hierarch, go. Scryland. So I feel like we have the soft lock set up for turn 3. Lotus Bloom, suspended. Damping Sphere. Well, let's stay the course for now. Let's Flooded Strand, crack it. Hallowed Fountain, Fauna Shaman. Get in with Noble Hierarch. Oh, I guess we still need another creature, don't we? Yeah, we still need just any creature. And then we can Fauna Shaman, discard that creature. We're close. We're not 100% there, but we're close to where we want to be. Next turn, we might just run out Damping Sphere for extra protection. Opponent, take no notice, Bloom. Hopefully we don't die this turn. We don't have our Teferi protection this time. Sleight of Hand. Serum Visions. Well, let's see what we draw. Seachrome Coast. Opponent passing. Chart a Course. Not a creature. Well, I think what we do then is play Windswept Heath. Crack Windswept Heath. Get a Hallowed Fountain untapped. Play Damping Sphere. Get in with Fauna Shaman. Hit our opponent. So we're going to just Eladrami's Call for another Oriss. And then we can soft lock next turn. With Damping Sphere, hopefully slowing down our opponent for this turn. All right, there's an Unlife. Sure. And a land. Well, we will Eladrami's Call. Get Oriss. Untap. Oh, there it is. There it is. We will play Oriss. That is what we needed. Pass the turn. Because now we can discard this Noble Hierarch to get a Genesis. Oh, I guess we need 2 turns still, don't we? Ugh, we're so close. All right, pass the turn. Opponent's upkeep. We discard the Oriss. Opponent can't cast anything. Plays a land. Well, Fauna Shaman. Discard Noble Hierarch. Get an Oriss. Pass the turn. Draw. Fauna Shaman. Go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent. Chart a Course. Pass the turn. Oriss. Discard Oriss. Play Eladrami's Call. Get a Genesis. Untap. Eladrami's Call. Well, Fauna Shaman. Discard Genesis. So if our opponent does something in response, we can Eladrami's Call for the Oriss if we're desperate. Get our last Oriss. Well, all we're missing is the Teferi for the hard lock. Get in with Oriss. Hit our opponent. Down to 12. Pass the turn. Upkeep. Discard an Oriss. Opponent spoils of the vaults. Interesting. Is this just desperation? Goes to 2. Hits a Thassa's Oracle. And scoops it up! Whoo! Damping Sphere! They were going to try to ad nauseam us. But they couldn't do it because of our Damping Sphere. And then the lock was pretty hard. We can Eladrami's Call, and yeah. All right. The deck kind of works, and it definitely annoys people like crazy, so that's a win either way. Sweet. So what did we learn this week about Bant, Grandeur, Lock, and Modern? And overall, the deck worked pretty well. We went 3-2 in our 5 matches, which that's pretty reasonable for a rogue deck. On the other hand, our deck is very matchup dependent. We had some just like great matchups. We were able to like hardlock Tron before they could Tron us, which was really impressive. Hilariously good matchup against like Ad Nauseam. We're just even Orissing a couple times can fizzle their combo. So we have some really, really good matchups. On the other hand, we have some tough matchups against like Grixis Death Shadow. They just have so much removal, so many ways to deal with our Orisses. They can deal with our graveyard. Those are the matchups where things get a little bit tricky for our deck. They can counter our Teferi, etc., etc., etc. So I feel like the lock definitely has potential, and it really catches people by surprise. And I feel like our new additions were awesome in the deck. Noble Hierarch, I think it's definitely better than Search for Tomorrow's. Yes, it can die to removal, but it works with our creature-based stuff, which is really important and something that we were lacking before. Also, Fauna Shaman is insane. That was the biggest addition to the deck by far. Fauna Shaman is just so good at assembling our combo. So I'm happy with the improvements. I like the lock. I don't know what the next step is for the lock. I think it is hilariously good in some matchups, worse in removal-heavy, kind of control-y style matchups, where opponent can just keep our Oriss off the battlefield, because really, that's the main thing that we need to have happen. Like, we need to get Oriss on the battlefield, and it needs to stay on the battlefield. Once we untap with it, it can protect itself a little bit with its tapping ability to, like, fizzle a lightning bolt or something. But really, that is the harder issue, is making sure that Oriss sticks. So in really removal-heavy matchups, it's tough. It's tough to get that Oriss to stick. In other matchups where people are just kind of like goldfishing and comboing and doing all that typical modern stuff, then Oriss is absolutely absurd, and our deck is really good at finding the lock. We have a lot of ways to find it. We have reasonably good cards. Some of them are a little bit weird, like Genesis is not something you typically think of as modern playable, but it is great in our deck, and we do have some solid, like Teferi, Spell Queller, Path to Exile, Noble Hierarch, modern staples in the deck to support our core. So I'm pretty happy with how the deck turned out. The lock is hilarious. People don't expect it. It takes them a minute. You can see the look on the opponent's face where they're like, what's going on? Like, why is there an Oriss? And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, discard it, you can't cast spells this turn. And they're like, okay, like, that's cute. And then Teferi comes down, and Genesis starts getting back Oriss, and the opponent's like, oh, now I see what's going on, and I want no part of it. I'm done. I can't do anything. So I do really love the deck. Anyway, that's my Grandeur lock. If you got some ideas on how we can keep working on it, improving it, let me know, because it's really fun, and it's super unique, and it's an awesome, a different style of prison deck. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.